Hi, I'm Joseph, co-founder of the Abundant Culture Fund, and today we're getting ready to analyze an investment opportunity that can help you grow your retirement income faster than you ever thought possible and with a lot less risk as well. Now, a lot of people don't know that they can actually use small businesses as a vehicle for their retirement. And I believe that it's the best retirement vehicle out there because it generates a lot more income than traditional retirement assets such as stocks, bonds, and multifamily real estate, like you'll see later on in this video. But it also can have a lot less risk as well, especially if you have the right team in place. So if you take a look at my screen, you'll see a first class moving and storage company for sale. And some of the things that stand out to me about this listing is one is that it's been around for about 35 years, which is awesome, has a 97% customer satisfaction rating, and they manage about 1 to 120 moves every single month, which is I think is definitely a lot of movement. That's really really cool. They also do long distance moves, which is great. But they not only do it for residential, they do it for office complexes, medical facilities, and they're even licensed to do different moving operations for the military, and I think through 48 different states. So that's a really impressive thing to say because, I mean, obviously the military gets somebody to move their stuff. Well, I thought they just did it themselves, but this moving company can actually do it for them, and they're actually located not too far from a major military base. The other thing that stands out to me about this business is that it even grew through 2020. In spite of the pandemic and everything that was going on. So that's always really, really good news whenever you're buying a business. If it survived 2020, it can survive a lot. So that's really good. And basically, it has 18 employees, which is a decent number of employees. And the owner is selling because they just are looking to retire. And that's pretty much the typical reason for the most part. So let's dive into the numbers. The asking price is $850,000. It has a gross revenue of 100 and not 120, $1.2 million, and it has a little over $500,000 in furniture, fixture, and equipment with $224,000 of cash flow, which is really good. $15,000 of inventory. I'm assuming that that's not included in the sale or asking price. Oh, it is included in the asking price. And the rent is 7,500 a month, but for the revenue that they're doing, that's nothing. That's a drop in the bucket, honestly. Um, and they were around since 1942. Yeah. So seems like a solid investment. So let's actually look at what this business looks like if my fund were to buy this business and what my investors would stand to make if we actually bought it with our fund. So if you're looking at my screen, you'll see a spreadsheet with a ton of numbers on it. Don't worry about anything that's not color coded. I use this for really in-depth underwriting, but today this is just a preview of what's possible with small businesses. So don't worry about any other numbers that aren't color coded because these are the numbers that I use for a lot more in-depth underwriting, and that's not what we're doing today. So I input the asking price of $850,000 and the cash flow of $224,000. Now, what I want you to keep in mind is that this return is going to be based off of using no financial leverage whatsoever, and also not growing the company whatsoever, which are two things that we're going to do that would actually improve the returns. So the returns will realistically actually be better than what you're seeing, but I just like to do this to so that you can compare apples to apples when it comes to other investments. If you look here in the yellow, my investors would actually stand to make 20% on their money from this deal, which from as a dollar amount would be $172,000 after all the other expenses are paid. So $850,000 and getting $172,000 out. Not a bad deal whatsoever, in my opinion. So let's see how this return actually stacks up against other returns for other assets that people invest in for their retirement. So I actually did research and found that across stocks, bonds, and multifamily real estate, if you don't include financial leverage and if you don't include growth, your return just from the income from those assets will be about 6% per year. So that means if you invest about a $500,000 into those assets, you would most likely not be getting any more than $30,000 a year. But you can invest that same $500,000 into that type of asset in the Abundant Culture Fund and get a 20% return. And that will actually boost your retirement income to $101,000 a year. That is a $71,000 increase in income, not from investing more, but just from moving your money from a low income asset to a high income asset, which that basically equates to a 337% increase, which basically means that you're making 3.3 times more with the Abundant Culture Fund asset as opposed to the traditional retirement assets that most people are investing in already. So let's say you had a goal to just make $60,000 in income in your retirement, and you're good with that. You don't necessarily want or need to make any more money than that. How much money would you have to invest in order to generate that type of income? Well, based on those traditional assets and the income that they generate, you would have to have $1 million invested into those assets in order to generate that $60,000 of income. Or you can invest in those type of assets, Abundant Culture Funds types of assets, small businesses, and you would only have to invest $296,000 in order to generate that same $60,000 income. So to break it down for you, would you rather invest $1 million to get $60,000, or would you rather invest $297,000, a little less than $300,000, in order to get the same $60,000 income? So basically, what that breaks down to is that just by switching the type of asset or the type of fund that you're invested in, we could free up $703,000 that you no longer have to invest in your retirement in order to meet your goal. So that's $703,000 that you can pretty much do whatever you can think of or whatever you want to do with. You can give the money to charity, pay for your kids' education, your grandkids' education. You can blow it all at the casino, or you can even reinvest it to make way more than $60,000 a year, whatever you want to do with it. So that pretty much concludes our analysis for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're somebody who wants to double your retirement income in less time with less investment, less risk, and less fees, reach out to us at abundantculturefund.com. And if you're a small business owner who just wants to sell your company so that you can focus on that next phase in your life, also reach out to us at abundantculturefund.com. Thank you and have a great day.